A man can be as great as he wants to be.
If you believe in yourself.
And have the courage.
The determination. The dedication.
La dedicación.
The competitive drive.
If you're willing to sacrifice.
If you're willing to sacrifice the little things in life.
And pay the price for the things that are worthwhile.
It can be done.
It can be done.
It can be done.
Here come the Rockies. Take a good look. You won't see it for long.
And so this road trip begins in the City of Angels. 4 games here and then 4 down in Phoenix against one of the 2 hottest teams in baseball, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Tonight, the Rockies match up with the Dodgers. The Dodgers have lost 11 out of 12, but they still have a commanding lead in the NL West. They're 92-47. The Rockies trying to hold on to that final playoff spot in the National League. Clayton Kershaw, just his second start, returning from the back ailment that had him miss a month and a half worth of baseball. Southwest batting order that he'll face tonight for Buddy Black. Charlie DJ, Nolan Arenado. Nolan's had a lot of success, in fact, against Kershaw. Mark Reynolds, Gerardo Parra, surprisingly left on left, has really done well against Kershaw. Then it's Story, Cargo, who's really starting to heat up, Jonathan Lucroy, and John Gray. So we're set for baseball. We are glad, as always, that you are along with us. He is 16-2, and even having missed almost a quarter of the season, he's tied for the league lead in wins with Zach Greinke, his former teammate.
This is Cy Kershaw. That's who it is. This is the guy. This is the best pitcher in baseball for so many reasons.
One of the interesting things about him and his success, we talk so frequently about guys having chase pitches and you got to keep them in the zone. Kershaw stays in the zone, Spilly.
He does not walk a lot of guys. This year is the highest home runs per 9 he's ever had in his career. A little bit over 1 per 9, but you still look at the strikeout rate. Over 10 per 9, a walk rate of less than 2 walks per 9. The guy will compete, he'll challenge you, and his stuff is as good as it comes.
2-0, and Charlie fires at a pitch that may have been up, a rare 2-0 count. You don't see many of those from Kershaw. And I guess that was there. Charlie knows the strike zone well. Charlie's had some success also against Kershaw. 12 for 45. He does have a home run against him. Yesterday, 2 for 4, double, and his 34th home run of the year. Best leadoff hitter in the game. 2-2. Kershaw, that fastball, curveball, slider combination. The slider's such a devastating pitch, and you faced him. Guys don't pick it up from either side.
The numbers are better if you're a left-handed hitter. 245 batting average for lefties on the season, 180 for righties. I've always said I'd rather see a lineup filled with lefties taking on Clayton Kershaw.
There's a breaking ball down. It's 3-2.
Now people are going to wonder, why would you want to load up on lefties against Clayton Kershaw? Well, Kershaw's best pitch, it's the back foot slider. In fact, this season hitters are hitting 186 against it, but to a righty, that's a swing and miss pitch. To a lefty, they usually take it.
Yasmani Grandal is catching him, and he wants a fastball. 3-2. And a base hit up the middle. That is an extraordinarily good at bat, which you are used to seeing from Charlie Blackmon. Works the count full, got a pitch he can handle, and the Rockies have the leadoff man aboard against Kershaw, who in that return in San Diego, as Philly mentioned, allowed only 2 hits.
Gotta love the at bat from Charlie Blackmon on the Subaru Supermo. You see where the pitch runs off of the location that Yasmani wants it. and just grinding the at-bat. This is why I like tonight's matchup for the Rockies. The Rockies as a group, 279 batting average against lefties. That's second best in baseball. In the top of the lineup with DJ, Charlie, Nolan, they've all been hitting lefties extremely well this year.
Trying to build a run. DJ squared around. And it's old-time baseball when you're facing a guy like Kershaw.
And we've seen it. You have to get him in the first inning. Cannot let an ace settle down. Figure out what pitch works for him, how the movement of the ball is working that night.
There was another game this year the Rockies had a chance to nick him in the first and failed to do so, and then he got dialed in. Good swing by LeMahieu. DJ hitting .316, among the league leaders in hitting. Number one, of course, is standing at first base at Blackman. DJ won a batting title a year ago. Thing you like when you look up and down the Rockies lineup, they have a lot of guys that have had success against LeMahieu, and it's all relative, but DJ 286 lifetime against Kershaw. Two and one.
It's amazing to think that this is the 10th year now for Clayton Kershaw. 142 wins, 62 losses, a 2.34 career ERA.
Yeah, it is hard to believe he's been around a decade. 2-2. Lifetime 21-6 against the Rockies in 36 starts. Charlie, real conservative lead, and that's inside 3-2. Home plate umpires Lance Barrett. Jim Reynolds is at first, Ben May at second, and Mark Wegner is at third. So 2 full counts to begin the evening. Charlie takes off late, and this ball's ripped to left, and Granderson trying to cut it off. It gets by him. Charlie's going to get a late stop sign. Got to get back safe, and in a second is LeMahieu. Stu Cole had a tough decision. The ball, for a moment, got past Granderson and left. So LeMahieu, who rarely pulls the baseball, yanks one to left, and the Rockies in that first frame now have Kershaw on the ropes a bit.
And just the guys you want coming up with Nolan and Reynolds and Parr to follow. It's a curveball, and that's why DJ's able to pull it. You saw the spin on the Subaru Super Mode. This is where it became difficult for Stu Cole. He sees the ball kick off, but it doesn't go far enough away, at least visually from third base. It looks like it's going farther away from him, and that's why he was considering sending Charlie Blackman.
So here's Nolan, infield back. Co-RBI leader in the league. High drive, deep left field, way back and gone. How do you like that start? 3-0 Colorado. Oh man, you gotta love it. The Southern California kid coming through.
It is not often you get to hear boo birds when Clayton Kershaw's on the mound in the first inning. Hands on his hip. Throws the fastball, and that's it.
He ambushed him. 3-run bomb, Nolan Arenado. His 31st of the year, 115 driven in now.
Off the bat, Nolan knew it, and you know what he's trying to do. Nolan's not looking to drive the ball out of the yard. He's trying to put a ball in play to get this run in. Nice, sweet swing.
How often in his career has he been 3 hitters in, down 3-0? That may be the first time.
The look of shock from Yasmani Grandal to Clayton Kershaw to the fans here at Dodger Stadium.
Mark Reynolds, who took him deep earlier this year, takes that pitch for a ball, 1-1. Typical of an LA crowd, and a lot of it's the environment. A lot of folks are in the parking lot or still on the freeways, and they're listening to their radio and they're saying, what? Single, double, bomb. 1-2, and a base hit the other way. Well, you mentioned the boos. Clayton Kershaw has personally never heard them.
Fielder number 8,
But the Dodgers, a team with 92 wins, who were well over 50 games above 500 about 10 days ago, they've started to hear him at home because they've lost 6 in a row. They've been swept twice by Arizona. And even though they're going to win the National League West, Dave Roberts assured everybody that that was the case last night. They're still up by 10.5 games. But all of a sudden, they're a little nervous with how their team is playing.
You're close to pushing the panic button here in LA. And I think after the Diamondbacks came in here and had their way with the team.
This ball is driven to left center field pretty well. Granderson will get over there and make the catch. The Rockies have put 5 really good at-bats together to start the evening. Take a look at the Dodgers defensively. They've been running all over the place. Curtis Granderson, of course, came from the Mets a few weeks ago. Peterson back up. He was actually sent out in mid-August. Puig is in right. Logan Forsythe, who's the second baseman by trade, is playing third for Justin Turner tonight. Turner's fine, scheduled day off. Chris Taylor's at short. They will get Corey Seager back tomorrow, and then it'll be a scheduled day off for Chris Taylor. And a very good receiver, two-way receiver. He's good offensively as well as Yasmani Grandal. Story, different guy against lefties, hitting over 300 against lefties with an OPS above 1,000. And he had a home run against Ty Block, the last lefty he faced 2 days ago when San Francisco was at Coors Field.
It's nice to score 3 in the first inning against Clayton Kershaw, but we know that 3 is not the magic number. Rockies will have to continue to find ways to get more offense. String at bats together, whether it's a drag bunt, a walk. Continue to add on, even though this is Clayton Kershaw. You have to look to continue to add against these teams.
1-2. Kershaw having success with that curveball. We'll see if Trevor can make an adjustment. Second most hits against lefties for Colorado. They're 22-16 are the Rockies against left-handed starters. 1 out, Reynolds at first. This kicks away, and now Reynolds at scoring position on a wild pitch by Kershaw. The only inning I've seen that rivals this for the Rockies, certainly against Kershaw, was in April when they hit back-to-back home runs against him. You're talking about 5 balls that have been hit very hard. And the Rockies already with a 3-0 lead.
Season high for Clayton Kershaw is 6 runs. He gave that up on June the 19th against the Mets.
And he got him on a back foot slider. So they're 2 outs, and that'll bring up Cargo.
Number 5,
Cargo's got the average up to 247. He was the best player in the Rockies lineup yesterday. A tough day. The Rockies fell 11-3. They had 8 hits, but Cargo batting in the 3-hole for the first time since June and only the second time since April. Reached on a hit by pitch, a walk, and hit 2 absolute missiles. Drove in a run for the Rockies. He's got a chance to add on here in the top of the first inning. 9 for 40, couple home runs lifetime against Kershaw. He's probably in the best place he's been since coming out of spring training. Fair statement?
Fair statement, and this means so much to this lineup. If Cargo can be in this place, think about it. You start adding and looking at the quality of bats up and down the lineup. For a while, it was a black hole of not good at bats, 6, 7, 8. You can add quality of bats from Cargo in the 7 hole with runners in scoring position. You get 2, 3 out of that spot, along with what Charlie Blackmon's been doing and what Nolan's been doing and DJ. Now you have a longer lineup.
Came on in August, and it's been a really good start in September. Tonight, game number 140, 1-1. Another pitch out over the plate.
Cargo was talking about making sure his hands, his top left hand, it was getting so wrapped that he wasn't able to control the barrel. You can see he's trying to put the barrel, the bat, into his fingertips.
And he struck him out. Foul tip. Grandal held it. Tremendous first inning for the Rockies. A base hit by Blackmon on a 3-2 pitch. DJ a double on a 3-2 pitch. And then on the first pitch, Nolan Arenado, 3-run blast. Question about it. Nicely done. Swung on and missed. This is what you worry about. Kershaw, he's retired 8 straight. Curveball, see you later. How about that? And that is a different kind of slider. Boy, that's some great pitching from John Gray. So John Gray matching wits once again with Clayton Kershaw. And though he hasn't thrown quite as many innings in their matchup as Kershaw, he has a lower ERA at 2.79. So you know John is fired up to face Kershaw here at Dodger Stadium. And oh, by the way, he's got a 3-0 lead to work with. Chris Taylor, who's had an extraordinary year, will lead off for the Dodgers. The biggest surprises in all of baseball this year. Batting .302 with 19 home runs, 66 driven in. And Gray's first delivery is outside ball 1. Just the 8th time in Kershaw's career that he's allowed 3 runs or more in the first inning. And 3 of the 8 owned by the Colorado Rockies. Good pitch there. Movement at 96. It's 1-1.
For me, it's really important for John Gray to establish fastball command. We've seen him being able to throw the pitches lower in the zone. The fastball about 96 miles an hour, uses it most of the time. The changeup, even though you see it at 1%, his last start he started using it a lot more.
That's well located, down and in at 97. Perfect pitch you see on the Subaru strike zone. It's 1-2. One other note on Kershaw. I said I wonder if he's ever been behind 3-0, 3 batters in. It's the 3rd time it's happened. The last time was 2010 though, against the Pirates on the road. Here's the 1-2. And the slider's fouled back by Taylor.
For John, it was a slider that wasn't quite there for him yet in the first inning against the Diamondbacks. He didn't have the great location, the good snap. And it was that one pitch, one slider to JD Martinez with 2 strikes that cost him that game.
Ground ball to second. DJ comes and gets it, and Taylor is the first out. Let's take a look at the Southwest batting order for Dave Roberts. The Dodgers have won 4 straight division titles. They're on their way to their 5th straight. Curtis Granderson will come up next. Then it's Cody Bellinger, who's the odds-on favorite to be the Rookie of the Year in the National League. Grandal, Puig, Peterson, Forsythe. Chase Utley batting 8th in front of Kershaw. So here's Granderson. Not going to hit for a big average, but he's a dangerous guy. He hits home runs. He's hit 4 now in a Dodger uniform, including a grand slam earlier in the week. But all in all, during this rough stretch for LA that has everybody in tears. That misses. The Dodgers have not scored runs consistently. In fact, in getting swept here against Arizona, they scored only 2 runs in 3 ball games. Not going to get any sympathy from the Rockies. 1-1. Purpose pitch, 2-1.
Did get an opportunity to talk to Dave Roberts today, and it's not a knock on any of the other players, but when you're missing Corey Seager, he said, imagine trying, if you're the Rockies, trying to play your games without your best player, Nolan Arenado.
Well, like I said a moment ago, you're not going to get sympathy from anybody. Three balls and a strike on Granderson. That's a good pitch. 3-2. And that is bounced into the Rockies dugout and on out of the dugout, hit the back wall.
It's been a struggle for Granderson in the last couple days. The lowest batting averages in the National League.
Another 3-2. And a walk. And that is one thing John does not do a lot of, and you cannot do that. You cannot allow a team to get freebies. And it's hurt the Rockies on so many occasions. And just look, even though we're looking through a fence, you can tell by Buddy Black's body language. You're talking about a guy who's hitting 200 basically. You got a 3-run lead. You can't put him on.
Well, and Curtis Granderson's hitting less than 100 over the last 10 games.
Now Cody Bellinger. And he should roll into a double play here. There's one on to first. Not in time. The Rockies were a little casual turning that double play, and Bellinger runs well. It's a kid who played center field the other day.
This has to be a double play for the Rockies. Even
Hit
though
hard. It's got to be.
DJ visibly upset. He's kind of yelling. I don't know if he had trouble getting the ball out of the glove. But you give credit to Cody Bellinger too. He's flying down the first baseline. The Subaru Supermo. There it was. It was just a slight bobble of the baseball in the transfer for Trevor Story. And just that slight miscue allows Cody Bellinger and those long legs to get down to first.
Switch hitting catcher Grandal. Fastball's off the plate. 19 home runs for Grandal. And it's 2-0. Grandal's hit at least 15 home runs in 4 straight seasons. He's a guy who played for Buddy Black down in San Diego. At 98, a little extra fuzz on that one. 2-1. Last year he hit 27 home runs, by far a career best. Where he's really improved is his receiving. Better pitch framers. Lucroy on the outside corner and a little slider. Wasn't where he planned it to be, but it worked out. 2-2.
Grandal must have been looking for a different pitch, a mistake up in the zone. Couldn't have been upset about location. It's right in the heart of the Subaru strike zone.
Probably more upset that he didn't fire, right? 3 on the right side. LeMahieu's on the outfield grass. Two and two. 2 outs in the first. And he got him. Cutter slider on the inside corner. So Gray strikes out Grandal. And we'll go to the second. The Rockies up 3-0 on a 3-run home run by Nolan Arenado. AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by the 2017 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores. By the Lodge Casino, your first choice for fun. And by Southwest Airlines, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. This is Dodger Stadium in the early evening, and the Rockies have a 3-0 lead. Blackman a single, LeMahieu a double, Nolan Arenado a long 3-run home run to left. Kershaw on the second will see the Rockies catcher, Jonathan Lucroy. Then it's Gray and Blackman. 28 pitches in the first, and that pitch is inside, ball 1. So the other 2 times, Spilly, we mentioned in 2010, April 7th in Pittsburgh, first 3 guys, or the first 2 guys reach, and then there was a 3-run home run by Garrett Jones. This is going to be an easy play for Utley. 1 out. In August of 2008 in Philadelphia, I guess he doesn't like Pennsylvania much, Jimmy Rollins was hit by a pitch. Chase Utley, who's his teammate now, that guy,
Silver Fox,
had a single, the Silver Fox, and Pat Burrows, now retired, hit a bomb. The only 2 other times he was behind 3-0, 3 hitters in.
feel better about the way the Rockies did it. There was no walks or hit by pitches. It was all Charlie, DJ, and Nolan.
And then it was followed up by a base hit by Reynolds. Parra hit the ball really well to left center. John Gray takes a nice swipe through the zone. 2 strikes on John. I need not tell you, but I will, that playing in LA historically has been problematic for the Rockies, and they've lost 26 of 34 here. That's strike 3.
There's a reason why I don't like Randy Newman's music. The song I Love LA is played every night
Number 19,
after
Charlie Blackmon.
the Dodgers win.
Yeah, look at that pitch on the Subaru strike zone, and Buddy Black asking John Gray, goes, that's low. And now he's going to chew on Lance Barrett a little bit. Pitcher or not, and Clayton Kershaw or not, you can't get something that's 3-4 inches beneath the strike zone. Blackmon got it started, worked the count to 3-2, and then had a sharp single up the middle. Here's the 1-0. It's a slider, but that's up in the zone. That's a hittable pitch, isn't it?
I like that the Rockies hitters have been very aggressive to Clayton Kershaw. And for a pitcher like Clayton, he's not used to guys swinging like that, with aggressive swings.
Two and two.
To my point, 20 swings of the 33 pitches thrown from Kershaw. That's just one time through the lineup.
And that curveball has a lot of bite on it, but he normally is able to land that down in the strike zone. He's bounced a couple. He had a wild pitch last inning that allowed Reynolds to move to second.
Charlie had his base hit on a single the first inning. Looks like they're going either slider or changeup.
This is popped up. There's a lot of room behind home plate. Grandal is going to have a play, perhaps. Nope. Charlie catches a break. They went fastball in the 3-2 pitch last inning, and Charlie barreled it up the middle. That was a slider. His last 16 starts, the Dodgers are unbeaten. They're 16-0. He's had 22 starts this year. The Dodgers are 20-2. They'll go slider again. And Charlie reaches again. Let's check in with Mark Stout.
Hey guys, we've got our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts, and it's about DJ LeMahieu. We got through 1AB, and he extended his hitting streak to 15 games. Let's take a look at the streak, which is started on August 23rd in Kansas City. 373 average, 7 extra base hits, 11 runs, 5 multi-hit games. His all-time high is 18. I was talking to Nolan today about hit streaks, and Nolan said, yeah, I've got the franchise record at 28, and I think I've had one maybe at 10 since then. They are hard to do, period.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, or Nolan brought it up. There's a curveball that lands. It's 0-1. You almost forget that Nolan had a 28-game hitting streak.
It's hard to do at this level. Stay locked in, make sure you get the at-bats, the opportunities, because you can take a great swing, barrel it up, and it gets caught.
DJ line shot. That one was not caught by Taylor. And the Rockies will have another opportunity with 28 coming to the plate.
There's times where a hitter's going to square up the baseball and the ball will knuckle. You can see it's almost like hitting a slider to Chris Taylor. The Subaru Supermo, there's a lot of movement on that baseball off the bat.
Chris Taylor played short yesterday, made an error, and he just made an error here in the second. Armako big hit. First inning, first pitch, 2 on, and Nolan did not miss it. Long gone into the Los Angeles night. So the Rockies with 2 outs have 2 on again for Arenado.
Well, so far tonight, what we've seen with Clayton Kershaw, which is strange to say about Clayton Kershaw, he's been nibbling. The Rockies, with their aggressive approach tonight, are forcing him to try to miss the zone. There's times where you're watching Clayton Kershaw, he's pounding the strike zone. He's aggressive with his pitches. Seen a lot of spike pitches, balls right off the corner.
He's now behind 2-0. In that first start, Spilly told you that he was on a pitch count. He threw 70 pitches in 6 shutout innings at Petco. He's already within 26 pitches of that mark. Now, he's not going to be limited to 70, but he's also not going to go out and throw 105. 2-0. 3-0.
This is the best approach we've seen from the Rockies as a unit in a long time. They have not expanded the strike zone. They've taken quality at bats.
Nolan looked like he was taken. I think Kershaw could have been sure of that. 3-1. I'm sure he had the green light. That was a personal decision. Charlie walked with 2 outs. DJ hit a line drive that was knuckling, that was not handled by Chris Taylor at short. 3-1 on Arenado. Line foul. The barrel out. This is interesting. Everybody always talks about, naturally, the advantage the Rockies hitters have at Coors Field. Well, no one ever talks about pitching at Dodger Stadium or AT&T Park, the advantage a pitcher will have. There's no doubting Clayton Kershaw's greatest. We opened the show by saying I think he's one of the 3 or 4 or 5 best pitchers of all time. But his percentage change ERA on the road versus home is 33+%. Nolan road OPS is only a decline of 17% from what he does at home. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded for Mark Reynolds. So you could make a case that Kershaw is getting a greater advantage pitching here in this pitcher haven than Nolan is when you look at those numbers, Coors Field versus going out on the road.
It's a great argument, and the stats are fascinating to look at because we're talking about one of the greatest pitchers of all time in a very pitchers-friendly ballpark. And you're right, everybody always knocks Coors Field as being a hitter's haven, but when you look at these numbers side by side, who does the advantage go to? It's pretty obvious. Clayton Kershaw pitching here at Dodger Stadium.
And again, a 270 on the road is extraordinary.
Yes.
It's great, but a 202 at home, and this is over a decade. So every time you're passing out qualifications and a disclaimer for what a position player does at Coors Field, understand there are certain parks where there's a distinct advantage. And again, this is not to take anything away from Kershaw. He's phenomenal. If you're starting one game against the Martians, he's the guy you want.
Except right now, he's slowed down the pace significantly.
1-0 on Reynolds with the bases loaded. Now it's 2-0. And this is not a guy that Kershaw wants to face in this situation, not only because of Mark's power, but Mark will force you to throw a strike.
He really will. Even though he's hitting .226 on the season against lefties, had the hit opposite field, which was a great approach for him. Kershaw's on the ropes.
Like you rarely see him. Here's the 2-0. Well, Mark throws his head up in disgust. He thought that was in, and it may have been.
Well, you work so hard to get yourself an account, and you hate to have a pitch that is off the black of the plate called for a strike when you have a pitcher like Clayton Kershaw on the ropes.
Bases loaded, 2-1 on Reynolds in the second. Now 3-1. And this is so unlike Kershaw in so many ways, but the upside down counts. I mean, he rolls out of bed and everybody's 0-2.
Well, and it's not like he's not pitching and using his fastball. He still uses it 46% of the time, but tonight he's been primarily off speed.
3-2. And two borderline pitches go the direction of Kershaw. I'm watching Mark Reynolds, and now he's engaging Lance Barrett while he has a moment.
Well, those fastballs in for Clayton Kershaw, they set up the back foot slider. It looks like a strike with the slider, and because that part of the plate is opened up, it may force Mark Reynolds to swing at a bad pitch.
Three and two.
Look out. Almost caught Charlie Blackmon with the foul ball.
Got to give Jacob, my oldest son, credit for coming up with that graphic. He did the research on that. Kind of interesting, man. Here we go again. 3-2. Rockies trying to expand their 3-0 lead. That's a nasty pitch. Mark's upset, but the future Hall of Famer just threw a Hall of Fame slider. So the Rockies will leave them loaded in the second. Up 3-0, middle of 2. Home run from Arenado. Rocket Arms is brought to you by Quicken Loans. Well, John Gray's been steady. He has 8 consecutive starts where he's gone at least 5 innings and allowed 3 or fewer runs, and that is the second best right now going in baseball to Seattle's terrific left-hander James Paxton, who threw a gem against the Rockies earlier this summer. First pitch, strike one on Yasiel Puig. Puig, Jock Peterson, Logan Forsythe here for the Dodgers in the second. At the end of the bat, Mark Reynolds got it, and Puig is retired. A little late bite on that fastball, took that thing off the barrel.
Number 31, Jock Peterson.
I'll bring up center fielder Jock Peterson. Third week of August, he was sent out. Sent to Oklahoma City. He was called back just a couple of days ago. And Peterson in 14 games in Oklahoma City was just 8 for 56. So it's not as if he got healthy. Always been a big swing guy, kind of feast or famine.
He's always had a good eye as well. He would take his walks. It's just that when he would get pitches, he would overswing.
Comes out of his shoes on every swing. When he connects, he hits it a long way.
That is, he's a definition of feast or famine.
There's the 1-1. And that fastball's up. Actually, I think that was a slider he overthrew. 2-1. Now he's behind 3-1. Dodgers have the best record at home in baseball at 52-19. But they were 52-13. They've lost 6 in a row. Line to left. Parra reaches up and makes the grab. That's a terrific catch by Gerardo Parra.
Third baseman
He
number
played
11,
corner outfield
Logan
also.
Forsythe.
That ball slicing away from you is well hit.
And this is not an easy place to pick up the baseball, just given the fact the seats, the fans, the amount of levels here at Dodger Stadium, and it all came down to the first step for Gerardo. Took the perfect, ideal route, opened up the correct way, glove side. Let's talk about the third deck. Dodger Stadium has 12 decks.
When you're at Dodger Stadium and you're out on the field and you look up, and you played a lot of center field here, and we just had that shot, you think it seats like 250,000 people.
It does.
Yeah, listen, I've never counted them, but you'd think.
There are 12 levels on the elevator. When you're in the elevator, it goes to level 12.
That is true. Two strikes on Logan Forsythe, the former Ray. Like that pitch, 1-2.
Told you, I grew up in Santa Barbara, 90 miles north of LA, and I have seen hundreds of Dodger games here. The very first time I sat in the last row in the upper deck, and I've been scared of heights ever since.
Where's that? John thought he had strike 3. That was in. 2-2. Could you decipher which team was the Dodgers from the top row?
It's hard. Now that's like sitting on the top of the Eiffel Tower for me.
Ground ball to third. Nolan retreats. He has time. Makes a perfect throw. John Gray with a 1-2-3 second inning. We move on to the third with the Rockies ahead 3-0. Challenge question. As always, go to AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to cast your vote. And in the postgame show, we'll reveal how you voted. If you had one pitcher to start in a must-win situation, who would it be? The guy on the mound for the Dodgers, Corey Kluber, the Indians, Chris Sale, now the Red Sox, or Washington's Max Scherzer. If those were the first 4 guys in a rotation, you would win a lot of games, Billy, right?
I don't even think you'd ever lose. Corey Kluber's on the mound tonight for the Cleveland Indians, who are trying to win 15 straight games. You just blindfold yourself, pick out of the hat, and whoever you picked is probably a pretty good choice. I would have a tough time not picking Clayton
I would have a
Kershaw.
tough time not picking him, given the understanding that he's had a couple rough outings in the postseason. It's really been an inning that's gotten him, typically the 7th inning. Here's Parra. And Parra lines another ball toward the outfield, and this will drop. So he continues to swing the bat exceptionally well career-wise against Clayton Kershaw. Parra lined out to left his first time with that base hit. He's now 13 for 38 all time. He's hitting above 333 against Kershaw. And Parra saying hello to the kid, Cody Bellinger, leadoff single. Here's Story. He struck out on a breaking ball his first time. I would still take Kershaw.
There could be an argument made that Max Scherzer, if you looked at what he's been able to do the last couple years, then Max Scherzer might be a good choice.
And as you said, I'm not, you know, if one guy couldn't go and you had to go with Scherzer, or you had to go with Sale, or you had to go with Kluber, I'm still feeling pretty good about my chances. But the numbers that this guy has put up are just absurd. And the Rockies trying to beat him tonight, and they're up 3-0. Another called strike. And that's crazy. I mean, that pitch is well off the plate.
So looking back at the first 2 innings, you can tell that it's been a struggle for Clayton Kershaw, just given the fact that the pace, he slowed down so much. It's not working in rhythm with Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. We've seen so many spiked sliders and curveballs. There's that number, 55 pitches through 2 innings tonight. It's the most through 2 innings since September 19th, 2010 against the Rockies.
They're going to go with a back foot slider ahead 0-2. Well, they want it on the outside part of the plate. And this ball's hitting the air down the right field line. Puig's got a long run, bails out. That's a fair ball. It's going to go as a ground rule double. That's the only break the Dodgers got, in that it bounced out of play. Puig was swung over toward right center field. So it's second and third, nobody out.
I don't understand. I'm not second guessing anything other than with 2 strikes, typically an outfielder, especially on the opposite field side, they take a couple steps in and they move towards the right field line. You don't see guys pulling balls or hitting balls into the gap, regardless of whatever the splits say. To me, he should have been over at least 2 or 3 steps, given the situation.
Here's Cargo, and he fouls that pitch off. The infield is in. This is a huge at bat for Carlos, because he's hitting in the 7th spot. If Kershaw gets him without a run scoring, they'll walk Lucroy, and then John Gray comes up, and they have a much better chance at getting out of it from the Dodgers' perspective. Here's the 0-1. Kershaw's looking out at the base paths the first 3 innings, and it's like the 10 at 4 o'clock.
And I'm seeing movement now in the Dodgers bullpen. Guys are stretching, and I gotta assume that's an awkward thing for these guys to stretch in the 3rd inning.
1-2. not only awkward for them, but about the last thing they expected. They usually have their feet kicked up until the 8th inning when Kershaw's on the hill. Cargo battle here, 1-2. Parr at third, Story at second, nobody out. That's a big strikeout for Kershaw, his 5th. Lucroy, you would guess they're going to walk.
21, Jonathan Lucroy.
No indication from Dave Roberts they're going to do that.
They're going to come up with the infield in and see if they can get Lucroy to chase. You know, in situations like this that Kershaw's looking to throw that back foot slider if you're righty. So if you're hitting, you're looking for either the curveball up, you're not looking to chase slider, you're not looking to fire on the inside part of the plate, and that maybe you get a fastball up in the zone that you can handle.
That's inside, ball 1. This has to fire you up if you're Jonathan Lucroy.
Of course it does. But you also have to understand that Clayton Kershaw doesn't want to back down for anybody, even if he doesn't have his best stuff. You need to have a quality at bat.
Yeah, I'm sure the fact that he's never given up a hit against him plays into Dave Roberts' thinking. 2-0.
I don't think that Clayton Kershaw is going to cave in and throw a fastball at any point in this at bat to Lucroy. He's going to continue to throw the slider down and in, see if he can induce a ground ball or get a strikeout.
2-1. Ball's lifted to right. Puig in the same spot as a moment ago with the great arm. Here comes the runner, Parra to the plate, safe. Jonathan Lucroy gets it done. And where he hit that ball helped out, because distance-wise, it's not a terribly long throw for Puig, but he had to redirect himself, and the Rockies have a 4-0 lead. That's a big marker.
It's a huge at bat because the Rockies had the opportunity to fail. And Jonathan Lucroy gets the fastball. I wasn't expecting it. He gets it 2-1. Yasiel Puig with the cannon. Watch Lucroy have to jump out of the way. Kershaw knew after that pitch, 2-1, that he started second guessing it. They were going to appeal at third base to see if Parra left early. On the Subaru Supermo, the reaction of Yasiel Puig, priceless.
Story moved to third. He tagged up also. 2 outs, Gray at the plate. 4-0 Colorado. It would have been a minor momentum swing had Kershaw worked out of that second and third, nobody out.
No doubt.
And Grandal blocked that.
If John Gray can put a ball in play, not trying to rhyme, he just puts a ball in play. Again, you're continuing that momentum. That's
70th pitch. And the next one will be one more than he threw in San Diego in 6 complete innings. And he's gone just 2 2/3 here at home. A place where he absolutely dominates. He gets a strikeout at Gray, but the Rockies add another run. In the third, it's Colorado 4 and the Dodgers nothing. RBI sac fly from Jonathan Lucroy.
Catch bottom 2, single and a run scored, top 3. It's 4-0. Rockies as we go bottom 3. There was a conversation yesterday with Bud Black about whether or not Gerardo Parra is a baseball pest. And here was his answer.
There are times he's pesty. but I mean, I think a pest is a guy who's a pest like all the time.
Okay.
Eckstein, pest. All the time. Juan Pierre, sort of a pest. Brett Butler, pest.
Yeah.
Butler in my era was a pest.
Butler, of course, played for the Dodgers in his career. What do you think, Billy? Because your name kind of came up in that conversation, too, that we had.
Not good enough to play every day or be a pest, but you try to take those quality at bats that make you pesty. People go like, oh, yeah, that guy's coming in off the bench, but you have to be in there every single day.
You weren't pesty in your career?
At times, but I think of like Josh Harrison. I think Brett Butler's a great Juan Pierre. Dustin Pedroia feels like a pest to me.
I'll buy those guys. But, you know, Pedroia hits the ball out of the yard. Josh Harrison can hit the ball out of the yard. Brett Butler was a good call by Harry Black. David Eckstein, definitely. You weren't a pest.
No.
You are now,
yeah,
but I mean, not
now.
bad. 1 ball, 1 strike on Utley. Upper part of the zone, 1-2. That slider he's throwing, Spill, he's acting more like a cutter. It's really late and subtle. Lifted to shallow right. Cargo will get there. 1 out. That'll bring up Kershaw. Fans joining in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts, photos, questions. Use Twitter or Instagram at AT&T Sportsnet RM. And please do not forget to use the hashtag ToyotaTalk.
Macaroni pie to the face challenge.
Hey, how about that yesterday? So tell us the backstory with that. You just walk up and slap some guy with macaroni in the face. I mean, you have some guts, but not that.
I went down below the auxiliary scoreboard on the warning track where those
Yeah.
warning track seats are. I'm sure there's a read I can have for that. And Chris, along with his group of people that was there with, they're on a corporate date night. He comes up and he offers, he says, you know what? I'm all about the rally. I'm willing to sacrifice my face. And he did it. He offered, he brought it.
Did you at any point in time, that's a strike, have second thoughts about doing it?
No, not at all. Not at all. 8 runs down, looking for an 8-run inning.
And Cargo doubled right after that, right?
That's great, Chris.
Kershaw fouls off the 1-2. Macaroni. I mean, you have pies, you have cakes.
That was what was available to us. I mean, popcorn doesn't have the same effect. Let's be honest. Macaroni salad is not, flying off the shelves in most of these parties. So there's plenty of macaroni salad to be tossed on people.
Yeah, if you're ever in the market for throwing something in somebody's face. Kershaw's taken 3 ugly swings, but he's still at the plate. He's being a pest right now.
Yeah, very pesty.
John is allowed 1 base runner. He walked the second man he faced, Curtis Granderson. That was 99, but it was low. 2-2. So in this playoff picture, which has a lot of focus on the NL West, Dodgers still way out in front. Now it's 3-2. Even though they have lost, I've never seen anything like this. They've lost 10.5 games in 12 days. I've never heard anything like that. But they're still up by double digits in the division. Arizona's won 13 in a row. The Cardinals, another foul ball. The Cardinals have won 4 in a row. This is the best at bat put together by a Dodger tonight.
And it's slowly getting the crowd back into it. Dodgers organ player starts playing music. The crowd starts clapping.
Looks like a cricket player.
Kershaw's the best ping pong player in baseball. Right now he's playing ping pong with John Gray.
That's his credit. He's done a heck of a job. This has got to be frustrating for John. He's going to throw 12 pitches at least, which is more than 25% of what he's thrown so far. To Nolan. Finally, 2 outs. But you said something. You're absolutely right. I mean, Kershaw is down 4-0. The Dodgers have been in a funk for the first time in a long time. Lost 11 out of 12.
Number 3.
And the guy who's maybe not pitching up to his standards, he just gave them their best at bat.
Got to breathe some life into the crowd. The Dodgers are starting to get warmed up in the bullpen. Curious how much longer Kershaw will have.
Chris Taylor bounced to second in the first. Haven't seen that curveball out yet. That misses outside. Padres down the road leading the Cardinals 1-0. They're in the 7th inning. Good curveball there.
Big Padres fan tonight.
How about the Indians? They won again, 11-2. There's that slider. It's 1-2. That's a good looking pitch.
Lucroy immediately turns back. That's where that pitch is. It's been going Dodgers' favor. Bud Black chirping. The Subaru Supermo. A lot of late movement for John Gray tonight.
And there's the first hit for the Dodgers tonight. Taylor. That'll bring up Granderson.
Number 6, Curtis Granderson.
Brock Stewart has gotten up. Granderson walked his first time.
Today when I was filling out the scorecard, I couldn't believe it. There's 13 Dodgers in the bullpen.
They have 4 on the left side. They're 2 deep in the dugout.
The Rockies are playing with an 8-man bench. And this is not, I'm not teasing here. The Dodgers are playing with a 12-man bench.
Not surprising. 1-1. That ball is hooking. Foul. Granderson became adept at doing that. I mean, he had home runs in Detroit, but he really became adept at doing it when he went to Yankee Stadium.
Nice porch. If you're a left-handed hitter, you can pull the ball to the new Yankee Stadium. Put up some nice numbers.
Make one more pitch here. 1-2 on Granderson. Taylor at first. And Taylor looking to move up. Great throw. Lucroy. Did they get the tag down? They did. Taylor is out. A spectacular play by Story to get the tag on Taylor. And that will end the inning. Down by 4 runs. Taylor took off on the dirt ball. And Lucroy just made sure he got that ball there airborne. He got him. Got him
nice
on the
play.
calf. 4-0 as we go to the 4th. The Rockies leading. In LA, the Rockies ahead of that man, Clayton Kershaw, the Dodgers 4-0. It's top of the order again. Blackman up for the third time here in the top of the fourth. And Kershaw has yet to retire him. A base hit and a run scored in the first. He walked and would reach third in the second inning. The Rockies left the bases loaded in the second. They did get a run in the third after there were runners on second and third and nobody out. 1 ball, 1 strike on Charlie. That's a good curveball. And that's a huge disparity. The fastball 92 to 95, and then that curveball tumbled in at 72 miles an hour. Charlie will regather his thoughts.
The curveball usually averages about 73 miles an hour, so he can drop it even lower.
That's the slider, 2-2.
Charlie is not bit once tonight on the slider.
Charlie at 340, leading the league in hitting. Justin Turner, who's not playing tonight for the Dodgers, is next at 327. Bryce Harper at 326. And he spit on another slider. DJ is 6th in the league. Came in at 316. And another great at bat. Blackman is on for the third time. And the leadoff man is on for the third time in 4 innings against Kershaw. Folks, when the Rockies score 7 runs or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the following day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. DJ has squared the ball up twice, a double to left and a line shot that was knuckling and ate up Chris Taylor at shortstop for an error. That's a strike.
I'm curious what the pitch count for Clayton Kershaw is tonight.
I would guess around 90. And that's based on his rehabs. They held him at 70. And he probably had, you know, a 75 pitch limit last time, and it's usually a 15 pitch jump. And that's strike 3 on DJ. That's the 7 strikeouts. So Kershaw is running up the strikeouts. And that'll bring up Arenado. A 3-run home run for Nolan and a walk.
Well, if you want to know who the culprit to running up Clayton Kershaw's pitch count tonight, it's the guy standing at first base, Charlie Blackman. Seen 20 pitches in those 3 plate appearances.
Playing like an MVP, isn't he?
He really is.
Every day, all year long.
Just doesn't give a bat away.
I had a conversation, this goes back 3-4 weeks ago, with Buddy about Charlie, and I said, who does he remind you of, you know, in the past? And I mean, Buddy's been in the game 38 years. And he said, you know, it's a great question. Let me think about it. And we chatted about some other things. He went out to the field, throwing BP, then he's over at first, you know.
He's really thinking about it, yeah.
He's thinking about it. Calls me over. This is like 25 minutes later. He goes, I got one for you. Fred Lynn.
Played center field. Good swing by Nolan.
Yeah, he's a rookie
Hit
of the
with
year
power.
and MVP.
The same year, 75. Great Boston Red Sox team featuring Fred Lynn and the other rookie, Jim Rice, who was third in the MVP. And you think he's a rookie, third in the MVP, he's got to be rookie of the year, right? No, he's not, because of Fred Lynn. But Fred Lynn, look up some of his numbers. 1 and 2. Down low, 2 and 2 on Nolan. Rockies extend this inning at all, even if they don't score. Got double-barreled action going in the pen. You got to figure this will be all. Dave Roberts will pull the plug on Kershaw.
Rady's on the left, Brock Stewart on the right.
Two-two, slowly hit to short, and Nolan will trade places with Blackman. We'll give Reynolds a shot, and it will not come against Clayton Kershaw. The Rockies are going to run off Kershaw after 3 2/3. Who would have thought that? Four nothing Colorado.
Season tickets and guaranteed postseason ticket opportunities. Go to Rockies.com/season tickets for details. It's pretty amazing. Running the great Clayton Kershaw out tonight. First inning, great at bat by Charlie Blackmon, followed by another hit extending his hitting streak for DJ LeMahieu. The big home run from Nolan Arenado. Just quality at bat after quality at bat. It was a struggle throughout the evening for Kershaw. I cannot imagine what it feels like if you're Dave Roberts trying to take this guy out.
Watch his reaction. He's going to fire something, and he's going, no, I can't do it. And then he lets go. He's been the best in the business for such a long period of time. And the Dodgers, some of that's the Dodgers' overall frustrations. The last 2 weeks, 11 out of 12 losses. Reynolds will ground out against Stewart to end the inning. I'll tell you another stat when we come back you're not going to believe. on 22, leaving the game early. Rockies leading 4-0 in LA. Kershaw's gone. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru, and by the Wyoming Office of Tourism. Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why TravelWyoming.com. Drew Goodman, Ryan Spielborgs, Mark Stout, our entire AT&T Sportsnet crew. And the Rockies shocking Clayton Kershaw. The Dodgers are up 4-0 as we travel to the bottom of the fourth inning. Granderson back up there after Taylor was cut down trying to move up on a dirt ball, and he's behind 0-2. Granderson, Cody Bellinger, Yasmani Grandal, 2, 3, and 4 for the Dodgers tonight. Gray has allowed 1 hit. In the air to left, Parra, routine play. It'll bring up Cody Bellinger, who recently broke the rookie home run record for the Dodgers, held by the Hall of Famer Mike Piazza when he hit his 36th. The team's going to be good. We often say you got to have some
good stories,
surprising stories, some good stories, and the Dodgers have several. Chris Taylor.
Great story.
This kid, and this kid was a top prospect, but you still, I don't care top prospect or not, you don't just ride into the big leagues and hit 36 home runs. And he's hit a lot of big ones. Had a cycle earlier this year. 6 times he's hit 2 in a game. John agrees with the selection by Luke Roy. Fastball. Actually, that looked like a changeup. 1-2. So Clayton Kershaw, Spilly, goes less than 4 innings due to ineffectiveness for the first time in 3.5 years. This ball's well hit left center field. Parra can't make the catch. And he's firing towards second, and not quite in time. It's a double for Bellinger.
Number 9, Yasmani Grandal.
Bellinger's so good hitting the ball opposite field, gets a pitch up and away. Sometimes it's easier for a hitter to just drop the barrel on a pitch, even with high velocity up and away from him. A lot of strength, a lot of power. You see the athleticism. We've already seen Bellinger beat out a tailor-made double play And that play, even with the Gerardo Parra taking it off the fence nice and easy, makes a good strong throw. Bellinger slides in safely.
Grandal at the plate. This time Graves had to deal with a runner in scoring position. Dodgers are a team that typically grind out at bats. They're first in baseball in walk percentage, fourth in on base percentage. Two and one. So Kershaw went an inning and 2/3, May 17, 2014 in Arizona. Gave up 7 runs. Since 2011, that date in Phoenix and tonight, the only 2 times he's gone less than 4 full innings because of ineffectiveness. Fly ball to left. Parra near the line will make the catch, and that is the second out. That'll bring up Puig.
Number 66.
Well, Rockies needed a start like Kershaw had tonight, where they ran him out. Talk about a confidence booster. He said this is one of the most important road trips for the Rockies this season. 4 games here in LA, followed by 4 games against the red-hot Diamondbacks. And starting off the whole series, you have to face Clayton Kershaw, and you run him after 3 2/3. So far, so good.
Puig, a ground ball to first on a slider.
It's been Yasiel Puig's best season in the major leagues. 24 home runs, a high for him. Hitting a lot in the 8-hole. It was a great spot for him to be sitting down there because he could be patient. He could have the power.
But less focus on him as opposed to more focus on the Dodgers and some of the other guys. And he kind of has had a, as you said, a really good year, but he hasn't been the centerpiece. And he's grown up, to his credit, some.
Some of the numbers that were surprising, if you look at Yasiel Puig's splits, he's hitting 165 against lefties. This is righty. You know, you expect him to beat up on left-handers. He hasn't. 286 batting average against righties.
And the last few months, he's been really good. One and one. Bellinger at second. And this ball's going to bring Bellinger home, and Puig in a second with a double. It's 4-1. You don't want to give them any life.
It's the only 3rd hit John Gray's given up this season with runners in scoring position.
Number 31, John Peterson.
The slider just not enough bite. It's almost like a BP fastball at 90 miles an hour for Puig. The ball just jumps off Yasiel's bat. And that's a strong human being.
That is a strong man, no question. Jock Peterson, he lined out to left. Nice running catch out there on a 3-1 pitch by Parra.
John has to find a way to get out of this inning without giving up another hit. You do not want Dodger fans to get involved in a baseball game.
Nope. Peterson has a Matt Stairs approach. It's one approach.
Swing hard in case you hit it.
Trying to hit the ball a mile every swing.
I know people wonder at home, they go, hey, is it really possible for a team to change a feel or fans to change the feeling for a team? Yeah, you go to a visiting team and the crowd gets involved, they get loud. It stresses the players on the field. It really does.
"72 pitches in, which is a much higher number than you'd like after 3 2/3. Gets that call, 1 and 2, and that was in. Lance Barrett gave that pitch to Clayton Kershaw earlier in the ball game. That was without question a ball, but it went the Rockies' way. It's 1 and 2. Didn't offer it the curveball. It's 2 and 2. I know it's the middle of this game, Spilly, and I'm sure people are feeling this at home. You're up 4-0. You run Clayton Kershaw off after 3 2/3. It's mandatory you shake hands at the end of the night.
You have to.
Well, it's 3 and 2. Whatever it takes to get it done.
Stay here as long as it takes to make sure it's done. You have plenty of players. You have to match up early, go for it.
Gray, who usually racks up the strikeouts, his fan just won. 3 and 2 on Peterson.
Yasiel Puig dancing behind second base. I noticed John Gray and Trevor Story looking at each other. Sometimes you'll see a pitcher lift their leg and do the spin move. See if you can get a over-aggressive Yasiel Puig.
Perfect look at it. 3-2. That's out of play.
Rockies baseball is always live at the MLB.com and Bat mobile app. Stay connected all season with video highlights, stats, news, and more.
And now Peterson calls time. Another 3-2, and he loses him. That'll bring up Logan Forsythe. Steve Foster comes out.
Foster will come out. This is the matchup you want if you're John Gray. Forsythe not as good against righties as he is against lefties.
Number 11, Logan Forsythe.
You have to find a way to put this inning away.
Buddy Black was asked about the recent issues for the Rockies and how they have struggled in August with runners in scoring position. Haven't been able to get on a roll. Won a couple of games earlier in the week. Could not sweep the Giants. And he said, what you'd love to have is one of those games where your starter goes out and basically throws a shutout. And the Rockies haven't had one of those. And John was rolling along, and now he's giving up a run here in the fourth, and he's got work to do to get the third out with Logan Forsythe up there. Curveball for strike one. Center field, but caught by LeMahieu up the middle. So he was positioned perfectly off the bat. The crowd got excited. The Rockies give up a run in the fourth on a double by Puig, 4-1. One over the Dodgers on a beautiful night in Los Angeles. First of four between Colorado and LA. The hunt for Rocktober. Dodgers' best home record in baseball, but they've lost 6 in a row at home. They're 4-1 against the Rockies this year at home. Overall, it's been a pretty close series. And the Diamondbacks, they've been rolling. 13 in a row. They're off tonight. Cleveland won again, 15 straight for the Indians. Guess they were hoping to revisit the World Series this year. Cleveland and Houston, the class of the American League on paper. Gerardo Parra against Brock Stewart, who got the final out for Kershaw in the fourth. Like he started him out with a changeup. Stewart played for 4 years at Illinois State, a senior side. And like most guys that pitch for the Dodgers, he has really good numbers. Sneaky fastball, 1-1. Overall, the opposition has hit .224 against the Dodger pitching staff. Not only is that the best in baseball, historically, since 1920, that's the third lowest batting average against for a pitching staff. Parra hits this ball in the air to Granderson near the corner. He makes the catch.
As an outfielder, Dodger Stadium for a corner outfielder felt like, for me, the hardest outfield spots in baseball. This is one of the few symmetrical fields in all of sport, well, especially for baseball. But the right field line is short, not a lot of foul territory. It's loud here. And just reading the ball off the bat, it doesn't sound right when you're standing out there. It doesn't, you don't hear the echo of the bat, the sound of the ball makes off the wood. It's just very difficult for the corners to get a read. Center field, it's fine. It's just you have the wall of music standing behind you and your ears are bleeding by the end of the game.
Yeah, all the speakers out there, it's got to be awful to be in center field.
Well, it's fun to play center field, but yeah, here.
Unless you really like your music loud. Ball and a strike on Story. He had a pop fly double in the third when he was behind in the count. Puig tried to dive on the warning track right on the foul line, and it bounced in fair territory. He didn't make the catch, obviously. That set up Parra at third base. And the Rockies would score on a Lucroy sac fly. They're up 4-1. Got 3 on Nolan's base hit. Can Utley throw out Story? No. So a 1-out single for Trevor. He's 2 for 3. Great play by the Silver Fox, huh?
Silver Fox is still moving. I don't know where the Fountain of Youth is, but it must be here in LA. Just a magician with the glove and his ability to just know where first base is. He's played second base for a long time. This is just trusting instincts. He's not even looking where first base is. He's just turning around and throwing.
So Cargo will come up. They're going to shift. Got 3 on the right side. Cargo struck out both times against Kershaw.
Well, they moved Logan Forsythe, who's playing third tonight. They switched him to his natural position in the shift to second base.
Rockies have out-hit the Dodgers 7-3 tonight. Story a threat to run at first. And that's a base hit the other way. Story's going to get to third, I would think. And the throw there, not in time. Cargo, good base running, will go to second.
It's fantastic.
They beat the shift. Second and third, 1 out for Lucroy.
And Cargo has not been able to control the barrel up until this last month of September. It all came down for him with the grip. If you ask him, talk to him, he'll tell you he switched his grip on the bat. And now he has the bat now in his fingertips and he can control and manipulate the barrel. He absolutely is trying to hit this to the left side. And for Trevor putting pressure, this is what we haven't seen from the Rockies. We've wanted to see better base running. We've wanted to see this group put more pressure on the opposition. Cargo paying attention, watching Trevor taking second, keeps him out of a double play order too.
Another big at bat for Lucroy. This ball gets away. Here comes Story. He's going to score. Cargo move to third. That's what speed does, and there was no hesitation from Story. It's not like he went to the backstop. It went about 10 feet behind Grandal, and Story came storming down the line. The Rockies get that run back.
Love it. This is how you have to play baseball. Continue to put pressure on the Dodgers. Continue to put pressure by using your wheels, using your speed. And this is just a cross-up to Yasmani Grandal. Tell on the Subaru Supermo, he was not expecting that pitch. Pass ball on Yasmani Grandal, not a wild pitch.
Same situation for Lucroy. He's looking for something he can lift. 1 ball and 1 strike. A sac fly to right in the 3rd, which was large.
That is the 15th pass ball for Yasmani Grandal. That's the most in the National League.
That's a lot. That's a big number. Lucroy, an inherently patient hitter. Should mention the Rockies were able to activate 2 more players today. Ryan Hannigan has been battling that groin issue, has been activated, and Raimel Tapia eligible to come back today after being sent down 10 days ago. 2-1, and this is line to left. You got a tag. Well, it's going to drop, and Cargo saw it clearly. He'll score on the base hit by Lucroy. It is 6-1. Second ribby of the night for Lucroy.
Pitcher, John Gray.
Cargo filling in Blackman on the movement of Brock Stewart. Another big at bat for Lucroy.
I love at the bottom of the lineup tonight for the Rockies, you've had these at bats. This is what we were talking about with Cargo hitting 7th. If he's in a good spot, it lengthens out the lineup. Lucroy in the month of September hasn't been hitting great, 200, but he's been getting on base. When you have an 8-hole hitter like Jonathan Lucroy, 2-time All-Star, that gives you the quality of bat needed to put pressure on teams, it's getting closer to the style of lineup and style of offense that the Rockies have been waiting for.
Absolutely. It's interesting. Lucroy took off, and Gray got the bunt down, so he's at second. And Charlie coming up.
Let's see if the Dodgers even take a chance of facing Charlie Blackman. Nice bunt by John Gray, handling the bat.
Dave Roberts trying to get his attention. Now they say 4.
Had a feeling.
Yeah. Pick your poison. So DJ will come up with 2 men on and 2 outs. Let's check in again with Mark.
All right, guys, Blackman's at 340. I wanted to just see how he has progressed through the year. So we've got what I like to call Chuck Monthly, because there's Chuck Nasty. So here we go month to month. 293, 59, 292. But look at the second half, and this is entering tonight. 370 in July, 383 in August, and he's improved here in September with the game tonight. But this is what you're talking about with just how consistent he has been. And as you guys have said, and Buddy has said, you know, he doesn't give up any ABs ever.
No, he never does. And what was the word that Buddy made sure you looked up today? Not that it was that fancy word, but to describe Charlie Blackman?
Dedicated.
Yeah.
We'll play that later in the game because it's a great soundbite.
Every facet of the craft, he is dedicated to making himself better each and every day. LeMahieu, a double, reached on an error, and struck out looking. And a ground ball that is gloved by Utley, and he flips to Taylor to end the inning. The Rockies get 2, though, in the frame. Story had a base hit. Cargo a double, Lucroy a base hit. There was also a pass ball that allowed a run to score. 6-1 Rockies. Here's the Kubota pitching performance of the night. John Gray, 4 innings, a run on 3 hits, but he's thrown 80 pitches. This 5th inning, Spilly, will be very key for him.
I think it's extremely important because the Rockies, once you add those extra runs, those 2 runs last inning, momentum shifters. You can't let the Dodgers back into this game whatsoever. You've already run Kershaw out of the game. You add those extra runs on top. John Gray, if you want to be an ace, this is one of those innings where you need to have that 1-2-3 inning and get your squad back in the dugout.
Right part of the order, Chase Utley will lead it off, then you'll get a pinch hitter. Utley hit a fly ball to right, his only at bat.
Raimel Tapia. He's cracking up.
Hanging out with Tony Diaz over there.
Yeah, Tony's telling him, luckily you're so small.
John ready, here's the 0-1. Curveball's inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. I got an interesting one for you.
Can't wait.
Since 1996, another ground ball foul.
All right, I'm a
Only
sophomore.
2 of 10 teams. Well, you were sophomore
in high
Santa
school.
Barbara High? Okay. Only 2 of 10 teams that led their division by 15+ games entering September went on to win the World Series. The Dodgers led the NL West by more than 15 games on September 1st. It's happened 10 times since '96. Only 2 have won the World Series. The Cubs last year and the '98 Yankees called the ball.
The '98 Yankees are one of the best teams I've ever seen. It's a great team. And I thought back to the Seattle Mariners of 2001, a team that won 116 games. They were knocked out by the Yankees.
Now it's 3-2. We discussed this yesterday, Spilly, you recall. It doesn't, people want to attach great significance to how a team's playing in September. And history tells us, yeah, you want to be playing well, of course you do, but it doesn't always matter. Strike 3.
Nice. Good pitch. And this is where we'll see the late movement that we haven't typically seen from John Gray. Well-located fastball. All his fastballs tonight have been down in the zone. He'll be proud of that. You see that late movement?
Number 61, Alex Verdugo.
John enjoys pitching here at Dodger Stadium. He always has. Tells you, but it's been a struggle for him at times, realizing that you do get a little extra movement here at sea level.
Alex Verdugo is going to pinch hit for Brock Stewart. He's got some of Jock Peterson's mannerisms at the plate. Holds his hands a little lower. That's a strike. Well, pretty clearly all night, Lance Barrett has given that ball off the plate into lefties, away to righties. He's called that a strike. 2-1. The last pitch at 99.
Verdugo, a second rounder back in 2014 draft. This has always been one of the top prospects in the Dodgers organization.
2-2. He didn't like that call, and you understand why. But if you're getting that call, keep throwing the baseball there. Line drive, Cargo will get there. 2 outs, that'll bring up Chris Taylor.
Kids big and small, be sure to visit the Aero Arcade presented by Aero Electronics, located in the interactive area on the main concourse in center field.
Taylor, a ground ball to second, and in the 3rd inning, with 2 outs, he got the first hit of the night against Gray. Rockies have out-hit the Dodgers 9-3 this evening. They're up 6-1. Got a fast start. 3-run home run in the first from Arenado. Guy normally they use on the plus side, Brandon Morrow, is warming up.
Well, he said Chris Taylor is a great story. He really is. Traded back in June 19th last year for Zach Lee.
Did DJ make this play?
No way.
He made it, but Taylor beat it. It'll be an infield hit.
Taylor was expected to just be a utility infielder.
A fielder.
With the quality of the bat that Taylor provides, numbers remarkable. 19 home runs, 66 RBIs, and he runs well, can play some center field, some left field. He's starting at short tonight. See how far that DJ ranges to his left to try to make this play on the Subaru Supermo. Taylor's just too quick.
Let me go over Taylor's major league career coming into this year. In Seattle in 2014, he had 136 at-bats. He had 287, which was outstanding. No home runs, 9 RBIs. The next year, he had 94 at-bats. He had a .170. No home runs, 1 RBI. Comes down to LA. Last year he hit 207 and hit his first big league home run. All of that, and you say, yeah, this guy's probably going to be an MVP candidate next year, right? Based on that. He has been mentioned. He's not going to win it, but he came in tonight, 302, 19 home runs, 66 RBIs.
It's the same path that Justin Turner had.
1-0 on Granderson. Popped up. Foul ground. Mark Reynolds just wait. So John Gray safely through the 5th inning. The Rockies, as we go to the 6th, enjoying a 6-1 lead.
Dodger fans, it is time to play the captain.
Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Rockies have come to Tinseltown. They're playing a 4-game series against the top dog in the National League West. In fact, the top dog in all of baseball, despite the fact that they've lost 11 out of 12. They were facing Clayton Kershaw tonight as we welcome you upstairs, and they got after him from Jump Street.
Look at this. Kershaw, 3 2/3 of an inning. You would never have guessed that.
Never.
Never have guessed that.
3 2/3, and they've continued to add on against the bullpen of the Dodgers. So important. And again, Buddy Black, you remember as a player, Spilly, you have to take it day by day. We as broadcasters can look at a bigger picture. We said at the start of the broadcast today, 8 games on this road trip, you can't go 2-6.
No. No, you cannot. Not with the way other teams are playing in this league. You're trying not to look in the rearview mirror, but you can hear them coming. And this is why I like this opportunity for the Rockies. Their destiny has been in their own hands. It comes down to how well are they willing to take at bats? How well can they pitch? How well can they play defense? September can be fun in these type of matchups.
Brandon Morrow's in the ball game. He gets strike 1. He misses on that breaking ball. Alex Verdugo has stayed in the ball game in left field. Granderson has come out. Double switch. Nolan jumped on the first pitch he saw from Clayton Kershaw and hit it deep into the Dodger bullpen. And he thought that was low. 1-2.
Morrow's been fantastic for the Dodgers. You see the 5-0 record, the low whip, sub-1, 40 strikeouts in 35 1/3.
And a base hit the other way. Fastball up, and Nolan with the Rockies' 10th hit of the ball game.
So many of the Rockies' hits tonight have come with 2 strikes. Opposite field for Nolan. We've seen Cargo, we've seen Story, Parra, Reynolds, all with opposite field hits today.
Mark Reynolds a single in 3 at-bats. And that's laced to center field. Rockies has something going again.
Reynolds was wasting no time facing Brandon Morrow. You saw the numbers, the stats. He has not hit Morrow at all.
Did you feel that way when you were facing a guy that, you know, you'd see maybe 9-10 at bats, didn't have much success, some strikeouts? I'm not going deep in the count.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him early. I'm gonna take 3 swings.
So here's Parra. Gerardo's 1 for 3. He's hit the ball pretty solidly all 3 at bats. Getting work here, had not pitched since Saturday. Just a third of an inning against the Padres. And this ball in the air to shallow left, and laying out and making the catch is Verdugo.
Nice play in left field by Verdugo.
Trevor Story.
Off the bat, off the end of the bat. Took the wrong step, took a slight step backwards, but made up for it. Subaru Supermo, you see the full extension of Verdugo.
Trevor Story's got 2 hits tonight, double and a single. He scored a run. Rockies got in Los Angeles in the middle of the night last night. Played a night game at home. You would know it by how they've played tonight. They've been really fresh. Story with 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. Middle of 6th, the Rockies leading the Dodgers by 5 runs from Chavez Ravine. Here's our Cooney Lexus look back. 3 hitters in. The Rockies were up 3-0. Just the 3rd time ever that Clayton Kershaw faced a 3-0 deficit that quickly. And no doubter off the bat at Nolan, the Rockies would extend their lead to 4-0 off of Clayton Kershaw. They're up 6-1. Kershaw went just 3 2/3. Arcuni Lexus looked back. John Gray in the 6th inning will face Cody Bellinger. And Bellinger, big swing and a foul ball on a curveball. Bellinger 1 for 2. He doubled and scored in the 4th inning. The only run for LA. Gray's pitch count's pretty high, 96 pitches. But he has limited the Dodgers to just 4 knocks. Made his feet dance, 1-1. Went 2-2.
That's where he used the aggressiveness of Cody Bellinger against him. I love the pitch call from Jonathan Lucroy, understanding what this guy's trying to do. He will shorten up with 2 strikes, though. We've seen that already tonight with the double opposite field. Lucroy going back to the curveball.
3-2.
Like, you challenge him, if he hits a ball a mile, so be it. You're not walking anybody.
And he got him. That slider, we've never described it as a cutter, but it looks like a cutter tonight, doesn't it?
It's at 92 miles an hour.
Buddy trying to get Jonathan Lucroy's attention.
It's too loud here. I mean, even Buddy's trying to figure out what that pitch was. Was that a fastball or a slider?
Yeah, he doesn't know. It looked like a cutter.
You see, he got to the side of it.
You can tell, looking at the spin, you can tell it's slider. Rondal. That's a strike. It was a reach back, but it looked like it had the plate. Scott Oberg, Mike Dunn. You look at Big John's outings, and the next phase for him will be to limit the number of pitches per inning, because guys don't typically hit him, but there's, you know, some 5-inning outings, 5 1/3, that type of thing. This ball on the ground to the right fielder, one of the right fielders, DJ LeMahieu, 2 outs.
I think when you're looking at John's night tonight, and even though it's a high pitch count, a lot of foul balls, Dodgers give quality at bat.
They do.
My concern for this staff now, and we've seen it, we actually started talking about it several days ago with Kyle Freeland, is making sure, because for a lot of these starters, they've never pitched this far into the season. They haven't had this length of a year. Even John Gray's never fully been healthy for a full season.
That's the best breaking ball he's thrown tonight. You look at Tyler Anderson, that was nasty. Chad Bettis there. 0-1 on Puig. He doubled in the lone Dodger run in the 4th. That's a strike also.
I like that Yasiel is complaining about the pitch, but he's diving out. It's really hard to see a pitch like that when your front shoulder's flying out.
The pitch you like here?
Throw the same thing in the dirt.
0-2. And he'll get him to hit a fly ball to shallow center. Charlie coming on. And a great inning. 1-2-3 for Gray. I'm sure that'll be all. John, terrific as he outpitches Clayton Kershaw tonight. We go to the 7th, 6-1 Colorado.
Time for us to play go.
Much. The Rockies here taking care of business. 6-1 they lead. Ran off Clayton Kershaw after 3 2/3. And the new pitcher, one of the 4 left-handers Dave Roberts has at his September disposal. This is Paredes in the ball game. Cargo will lead things off. It'll be the 9th game for Edward.
Well, Paredes is making a statement for the Dodgers. If you look at the numbers, 7 1/3, 9 strikeouts, no walks.
Cargo had a double his last time up, and he swings over the top, it looked like, of that slider, 0-1. Cargo would score in the 5th inning. Rockies tack 2 on in the 5th. Four runs off of Kershaw in 3 2/3. Rockies got the next 2 off of Brock Stewart.
Paredes doesn't have an overpowering fastball, 91 miles an hour. But as we've already seen him through the first 2 pitches, if you look at some of his numbers, he will throw a slider 75% of the time.
Actually gave Cargo a single, said he moved up on the throw to 3rd. Probably the right scoring. Cargo drives this ball to center field and deep. Did he get enough of it? Yes, he did. Home run, Carlos Gonzalez. How pretty is that to see? Left on left, make it 7-1. And for Cargo, his 9th of the year.
Last thing to show up for a hitter is the power. And for Cargo, we've seen him. He's been hitting the ball opposite field. He's been spiking it. He's been hitting it hard. Hanging slider left on left. Cargo knew it right off the bat. Just a cement mixer slider. And the Subaru Supermo, watch the finish. It's good to see it.
First home run in 44 at-bats for Cargo. His last came against Matt Garza on August 18th. Sounded like a broken record all year, saying when Cargo gets going, when Cargo gets going. We said it the other day, there have been signs through August that he's got a chance to be real helpful in September. There's a base hit for Lucroy. That's his second of the ball game. That was Pat Valaika. Let me correct that. Pat. No, excuse me. That's Lucroy. Valaika's coming up right now. You know what? That's my bad. I'm looking down, and Pat's coming up, and Jonathan got the base hit. Pat pinch hitting now for John Gray after Lucroy with his second knock of the ball game. But we're saying Cargo, if Cargo can be Cargo in September, that lineup looks entirely different.
And it does. It really does. You're looking at Jonathan Lucroy, even with 2 RBIs tonight, in that 8th spot. The bottom of the lineup for the Rockies, if this is a lineup against a lefty, it looks dangerous.
Baseball is a funny game. Yesterday, the Rockies get beat 11-3. Just 8 hits at home. Gets a good arm in Johnny Cueto, but Johnny went only 5 innings. Tonight, you come to LA. You're facing Clayton Kershaw. And here in the 7th inning with nobody out, you have 7 runs on the board and 13 knocks.
This is what you wanted to see if you're a Rockies fan.
I'll tell you the other good thing. You know who's pitching tomorrow for the Rockies? German Marquez. This ball lined to left. Here's a base hit for Valaika. His family's at the ballpark, and we get to see Pat throw out another hit. 3 straight to begin the 7th inning. Hey, don't forget, everybody's getting tacos as well tomorrow. Go to your participating Taco Bell location between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Mas at Taco Bell. Blackman has 4 plate appearances. He's been on base 4 times. Single, 3 walks. The last one was intentional in the 5th. Gray goes 6 innings, allows a run on 4 hits, walked 2, and struck out 3. Charlie takes strike 1, hitting lefties at a .333 clip coming in.
Great night so far for the Rockies for several reasons. Number 1, obviously knocking out Clayton Kershaw. But number 2 for me, besides John Gray, is watching an offense that is stringing at bats together. They had 4 straight hits to start off the game. They had 2 in the 3rd inning. They had 3 straight hits in the 5th inning. They've been getting hits. It's been those extra ones with runners in scoring position. And tonight you're watching quality of bat after quality of bat. Two straight to start off the 6th inning. They didn't come around to score.
And again, looking forward, Spilly, the Rockies will have to play better baseball on the road than they have at any point in the second half. They're going to have to go back to what they were doing the first half on the road, because unfortunately their last 2 homestands have not been good, both below 500. Disappointing 3-6 homestand that they just concluded last night. 14 of their next 17 are on the road. They don't have any choice. Another big ball game from Cargo. Two and two on Charlie with 2 out. Excuse me, with 2 on and nobody out.
I always like it when you're watching a hitter tell the guys, like, it's story time. I hit this home run. I did my pimp trot. I was scared it was going to maybe get caught. Cargo's the best. He has everybody laughing. Kyle Freeland cracking up.
Lucroy at second, Valek at first. It's pulled with authority, foul.
Charlie's going to give an interview tomorrow for Japanese television, as tomorrow's game will be broadcast in Japan. Yu Darvish is throwing.
That's just foul.
Charlie, knowing that I played in Japan, was asking for some Japanese quotes he could use. Itanki Desane was a good one, which means it's nice outside. But it would have no bearing on an interview in Japan.
I think if he opened with that,
that would be good.
Impressive, right?
Yeah.
Just open with that. Another 2-2. And Charlie rips this one to right. Lucroy will get a stop sign. And the bases are loaded. Been up 5 times. He's been on base 5 times. He just wore Paredes down.
Second baseman number 9, DJ LeMahieu.
It looked like he realized there's no way he could throw me anything
other than the slider
that I'm not going to be on.
That's right.
Pretty nice feeling. And now Dave Roberts will have to make another pitching change. Bases loaded, nobody out in the 7th. The Rockies up 7-1 in LA.
Blackmon, he has stepped on first base 5 times tonight. Yep, a couple of hits and 3 walks. And we were talking about earlier about how Buddy Black, I just said to Buddy today, what word properly describes Charlie Blackmon? He thought and thought, and he came up with the word dedicated.
He's a dedicated professional athlete, man. It's an everyday dedication to being a baseball player and what he does. It's really wonderful to see how he goes about it. But yeah, man, if you look up dedicated in the dictionary, I don't know what it says, but I hope it says what I think it says. He's dedicated, man.
Spilly, you did that, and it was the perfect description of Charlie Blackmon.
I don't remember it off the top of my head, but it was something about loyalty to your craft, and that's exactly what Charlie is. He's loyal to his craft.
It's hard, Spilly, I would imagine, to have the acute focus day in and day out that he brings to the yard.
It's such an understatement, because if you were to survey Major League Baseball players and ask how many of them can give a quality at bat for how many at bats over the course of a year. Let's say you're an everyday player, that amount of at bats is close to 500. Let's just say 500, 501. You ask guys, say, how many of those do you think you give your best effort, your prime focus? Most guys will say maybe 250 to 300 at bats. If you ask Charlie, and Charlie's a leadoff hitter, he's going to get close to 660 at bats. He would say 660 at bats.
And it looks that way. 2 strikes from Raven, and that's fouled off. Josh Raven now in the ball game. Mark?
I've got the definition here. If you look up dedicated, it's devoted to a task or purpose, having single-minded loyalty or integrity. And it says a team-oriented, dedicated person.
He's all of the above. And DJ's gone 1 out. And that'll bring up Nolan a chance to add to his RBI total of 115. Leading the National League.
Baseman number 28, Nolan Arenado.
Nolan began the day tied with Stanton with 112 ribbies. Paul Goldschmidt was next with 109. Paul Goldschmidt, find out when we get to, well, we'll find out this weekend, but he got sent home from LA.
Yeah, he has the left elbow. I think it was left elbow or wrist inflammation. To make sure he was okay. That's not good if you're a Diamondbacks fan to lose that guy.
Three-run home run in the first, single last inning. And it's 2-0 right now on Nolan.
6'4" Josh Raven, known as El Curvo. It's a good nickname.
Let me guess why.
Throws a mean slider.
A lot of giddy up, man. How about El Hido?
That works. 98 miles an hour. He made his major league debut. It came back in June the 2nd, 2015. The first batter he faced, the guy he just struck out, DJ LeMahieu. And guess what he did? Struck out DJ LeMahieu.
He's behind right now, 3-1. Nolan, who always stays supremely confident, legitimately so. Some guys will say that, but he's saying before the ball game, he knows he'll get out of his little skid soon. Well, he did in the first at bat. 3-1. Ball 4, and he just earned another RBI. Bases loaded walk by Raven. And the Rockies now are up 8-1.
First baseman number 12, Mark Reynolds.
And that's what we haven't seen the quality of the bat, even from Nolan. There was a stretch. You're not going to get hits with runners in scoring position at all times. But even for Nolan, we've seen him expand the strike zone. We've seen him in those situations swing at pitches that he doesn't normally swing at. To take a walk with the bases loaded
in a game that's lopsided.
In a game that's lopsided that you want to get these runs on. So far tonight, this has been the best case scenario for this Rockies team.
No question about that. Oh, and 2. Well, in Lancaster, California, not all that far from here, the
Quakes versus the Jethawks?
Yeah, the Rockies Cal League affiliate Lancaster is facing the Dodgers Cal League affiliate Rancho Cucamonga in game 2 of a 5-game set. Now Lancaster won yesterday with Dick Monfort and Jeff Bridich and a lot of front office folks in Lancaster. Speaking of which, there Billy Schmidt and the gang, Zach Wilson, Zach Rosenthal, Jeff Bridich. Tonight, it's going Rancho Cucamonga's way. In the 9th, they're up 17-7. There's a strikeout of Reynolds. You know, led him to victory last night. Started on the hill, Peter Lambert. Remember that name, folks. A real high-quality right-handed pitcher for Colorado. Parra with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Alex Verdugo robbed him of a base hit last time up. Singled and scored in the 3rd.
Nice play by Yasmani Grandal. Mentioned earlier, 15 pass balls lead the National League. This would have been a wild pitch had it got past him. Every player in the Rockies lineup has at least a hit.
Rockies have 15 hits. 2-0.
We saw signs of this type of lineup starting to poke its head out. We saw it 2 days ago prior to the Giants beating the Rockies with Johnny Cueto. The night before, the Rockies had 8 different position players with 1 RBI each, which I think is a great number.
Yeah, and to your point, they were 5 of 12 with runners in scoring position. Now it's 3-0. Dodgers right now want to take a shower and get ready for tomorrow. That's about where they are. Body language in this game. And this got to be a shock to their system. 16 straight games. Clayton Kershaw, when he started, the Dodgers were winners. Ball 4 and another run forced in. 9-1, and here come more boos raining down from the crowd here in LA.
Shortstop number 27, Trevor Story.
You know, I know how Dodger fans are feeling. Just watch them walking out the gate. They're going to shower before the Dodgers do.
At this rate, I think you're right. 9th man to hit here in the 7th innings, Trevor Story. I mean, look at this. Grandal's walking out. Usually, you know, when you want to talk to the pitcher, you're in a little bit of a jog.
And there's nobody warming up in the Dodgers bullpen, so it's not like they're trying to buy time to get somebody hot. Rick Honeycutt just now getting on the phone.
Story of double and a single tonight.
Wilmer Font warming up.
Ball and 2 strikes on Story. Rockies hold on tonight. They'll get back to 500 on the road at 34-34. I like their chances. Story strikes out. That ends the inning. The Rockies get 3 runs, all of them charged to Edward Paredes. 9-1 Colorado. Middle of to 1 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Now you can watch your favorite Isotope stars in the big leagues with the Rockies. AT&T Sportsnet is your home for Rockies baseball all season long and is available on most cable and satellite packages. Visit AT&TSportsnet.com for channel information. Give you a little update on the roster. We mentioned this earlier. Ryan Hannigan is reinstated. He's been battling a strain in the groin area. 29 games with the Rockies. Done a nice job behind the plate. Raimel Tapia had to sit out for 10 days, yet once he was sent down. And today was the first day he was eligible to come back. So the Rockies and Buddy Black have Raimel at their disposal going forward in September. Austin Barnes is going to pinch hit here for Jock Peterson against Mike Dunn. First pitch, strike 1.
Dunn last threw against the Diamondbacks on the 2nd of September. Roughed up a little bit.
Looping curveball for a strike. It's 0-2.
And that's been the newer pitch for Dunn this season. Dunn came to Colorado primarily fastball slider, and with Steve Foster and Darren Holmes, who had a great curveball in his career. He's really encouraged Dunn and the rest of the bullpen to start using that secondary pitch. And we're seeing more and more pitchers in Major League Baseball realize that the curveball is a good pitch for them. People have gotten so slider happy, but a bad slider's a BP fastball. A bad curveball, yes, if it's hanging, you can hit it out, but you have to be willing to swing at it.
I just like the pitch variance, the speed variance. When you faced a guy, Spilly, where everything was hot, it was a little easier at bat typically, wasn't it?
Yeah, because if a guy makes a mistake with his slider and it's one of those rolling ones that doesn't do much, it's a hit.
Mike Dunn's ahead of Barnes, 0-2. Walker Buehler's now up in the Dodger pen. He was just brought up to this, a young man they like a lot out of Vanderbilt. Two and two. So the Rockies with 9 runs tonight. You look at the last 6 games for LA. Actually, we'll take it back to the last 5. They've lost 6 in a row. Jolie Chassin, former Rocky, there's a strikeout. Beat them on Sunday. In 7 innings, he allowed just 2 earned runs, 5 hits. Boy, he's been good.
Number 11, Logan Forsythe.
He's been excellent at Petco.
Robbie Ray went 7 2/3, didn't allow a run on 3 hits. Zach Greinke, 7 innings, a run on 4 hits. Taijuan Walker, we know how good he can be, a run on 4 hits over 6 innings. And tonight, John Gray, a run on 4 hits over 6 innings. So the Dodgers, against that group of starters, 33 2/3. They've produced only 20 hits, and the starters have a 1.34 ERA against this Dodger offense the last week.
I'm not going to blame the Dodgers offense.
Good pitching.
No.
What are you going to blame?
Sports Illustrated.
Oh, okay. The old Sports Illustrated jinx, huh? The SI jinx?
They get put on the cover of Sports Illustrated with the best team ever? Question mark? On August 28th, they've won 1 game.
They don't feel like the best team in Los Angeles right now. Charlie Blackmon cruising in. Forsythe is the second out.
I've always pointed at September as being one of those time frames in baseball where you have to be careful with how many guys you call up. It changes the feel of the clubhouse. It changes the clubhouse culture. It changes the chemistry. I mentioned it, and I said it jokingly, but when you're looking at the Dodgers bench and they have 12 players on the bench, and then you look at the bullpen and there's 13 to 14 pitchers in the bullpen, you have a 25-man roster with extra guys taking up extra spots.
Feels like a spring training game.
It doesn't feel right.
And the clubhouse, I know it's going to sound weird, the clubhouse is a lot more crowded. Is that
yes,
get you out of your rhythm a little bit?
It's not the same. It doesn't feel the same. And for guys having experienced it.
It's TK Hernandez, and he launches one off the base of the wall and left. He's going to have himself a double. Hernandez pitch hitting for Utley with a 2-out double. And this will be the second at bat for Alex Verdugo. Pinch hitting stayed in the game in left field.
So to finish the thought, having gone to the playoffs twice, when you get to the playoffs and you go back to the 25-man roster, having that expanded roster, and there's several reasons why managers really just don't like having this many players. One of the aspects is they don't feel like the unit is the same. So once you get back into the playoffs, it feels like, oh, here's our group of guys again. Let's go.
All right, you've heard me pontificate on that subject. I just find it.
You can say it.
Bothersome. No, baseball has to change it. You can't play the most important month of the season under a completely different set of rules than you play the first 5 months. And then when October rolls around, you can be saying, "Hey, I can have this guy pinch run." No, you can't. You don't have the same number of guys. You just cleared out your dugout. 1-0 on Verdugo, 2-0 on Verdugo.
And it would be really hard if you're a front office or a manager after calling up 25 different guys halfway through the month of September, go, you know what? We're going to send you home now.
The whole thing's strange, and I get it that you're giving guys opportunities, and it's great for the players. I'm trying to remember back, Billy, when you first got to the big leagues, were you a September call-up, or
No,
you made it out of spring training?
I was still mad about it. I was really upset that I didn't get called up in September, and it was for good reason. It was almost to the point the Rockies told me that based on the team, and this was back in 2005, that the team was playing quality baseball as a group. They didn't want to add the extra players.
It's kind of the point you're raising right now. Verdugo slices one to left, and did Parra make the catch?
Yes.
He did. What a great play by Gerardo. End of inning. Stealing a hit and an RBI from Verdugo. We'll go to the 8th.
Gerardo Parra, a couple of great plays in the outfield. You just saw that one. This was earlier in the game. Great running catch. And then he just put one away again in the 8th inning, of course, laying out for this one. So we got a tweet. Earlier today we were talking about, is Gerardo Parra a baseball pest? And we talked about it with Buddy Black. So a tweet came in wondering about other maybe Rockies pests that we've known over the years. And I know that Juan Pierre's name comes up. Sometimes I think about Brandon Barnes as perhaps kind of a pesky player. So can we show the tweet that we had? We don't have the tweet, so I'm just wondering if you guys think about other. You know, when we were talking to Bud Black, somebody asked about EY. I said to Bud Black, "You like this one, Drew?" Wally Backman came to mind.
Yeah, Wally Backman was a pest. You're right. Good player, manager after his playing days.
That was.
Bueller.
He's got a big arm, 98-mile-an-hour, former Vanderbilt star, making his big league debut. And his first pitch to Cargo is fouled off. Cargo, a single in the 5th and a home run to center in the 7th.
Buehler.
No day off for Buehler.
Nice.
That's 100. No wonder they like him. Kind of pumped up, isn't he?
Sure, it's never happened to him. Sure, he's never heard Buehler. His Twitter handle is Buehler's Day Off, which is fantastic.
A lot of snap on that curveball, 1-2.
Dodgers going with a complete line change.
No, it's not just one line. They changed out their roster here defensively. We'll get it to you in a moment. All right. So in the outfield, Kike Hernandez is now in left field. In center field is Alex Verdugo. Trace Thompson is at first base. Rob Segedin's at third. Our old friend Charlie Culberson's at short. Austin Barnes is at second. And Cargo bounces that down the line.
So nice.
That's his second base hit in that direction. And the shift wasn't on. So Cargo's got 3 hits after a 2-hit day yesterday. His average over 250 now.
Jonathan Lucroy.
It's got to feel so good for Cargo. Raimel Tapia coming off. You'll get the standing ovation from his teammates.
I don't think the Dodger
Dodger fans
will
are
probably give him a standing O.
But his teammates will.
Vinny Castilla on the road trip with the Rockies, first to greet him.
That smile is the best.
Raise your hand if you saw this one coming at home.
That's got to feel so good for Cargo. The grind that he's been going through.
Agonizing, and you never knew it. We told you many times. He would be a little more quiet than he normally is at times, but he remained confident. He remained steadfast. He worked his tail off that he'd find a way out of it. Lucroy's had a nice ball game. Well, this kid's got a large arm. Man.
Tell you what, as a player, having gone through the grind, Cargo tonight, when he jumps into bed, when he's starting to unwind, he's going to do that one, yes, because he knows he's got it back. And there was days throughout this season, there had to have been, where he wanted no part of going to the baseball field. Driving to the field stunk. Tomorrow he's going to wake up, pep in his step, the birds will be singing.
Could be here at 10:15.
It's going to feel great to go to the ballpark from here on out, knowing that he has his talents back and that his confidence are right with it.
This ball is gobbled up by Bellinger, and they'll turn a very nice 3-6-1 double play. That's not easy to do. Lucroy bounced into the 3-6-1, 2 outs. Mike Tauchman will be the pinch hitter for Mike Dunn.
Pinch hitter number 3, Mike Tauchman.
No swing, 1-0. You've told the story many times when we've been here about the coolest part of playing your first game at Dodger Stadium, the team you followed growing up.
He was listening to Vin Scully call your name. And I asked my family, I played several games here at Dodger Stadium as a youth, as a high school kid, coming and playing in whatever tournament. The first time you hear him say your name, he always said it's like Johnny Carson giving the comedian the thumbs up.
Or having Johnny call you over after you do a little stand-up routine and you get to take a seat for 35 seconds, remember?
Unbelievable. Best feeling in the world is Vince Scully calling your name. We miss that guy. Bring him back.
Absolutely. AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. The bright lights of Los Angeles and the Rockies are up 9-1. As we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, Scott Oberg will be asked to handle the 8th inning. Raimel Tapia pinch ran for Cargo. He stays in right field. This is Rob Segedin. His first at bat just came in at third base. Numbers on Scott Oberg this year:
48 innings pitched, 44 strikeouts, and 19 walks. Oberg, unlike Mike Dunn, has scrapped his curveball for the slider.
Slider that you just spoke of. First strike, 1-2.
It was great the other night at Coors Field. There was a fan with an Oberg jersey, and he comes out, and I asked Scott, I says, family member? I mean, we haven't seen many Oberg jerseys.
Right.
No disrespect. And he goes, no. He goes, seriously? And I was like, are you going to go sign it? He was like, I don't know. Do I sign my own jersey? I was like, yes.
That's a nasty hook right there. There's a slider with like a power curve action on it. That had a lot of depth to it.
Nice pitch for Scott Oberg. So Scott walks over to the fan. She is freaking out because Scott's there, and he goes, why would you buy this jersey? She says, because you're pitching great this year and you're my favorite player. He signs it as he's walking back. The fan is blushing, but so's Scott Oberg. He's never had an opportunity to do that before, and he was taken back.
Maybe it may have been a homemade jersey, right?
No, yeah, it was a homemade. Like she
bought it and then ordered that she wanted Oberg on the bat. Well, good for him. That's great.
It was awesome. So the #1 Oberg fan out there, Scott appreciated it very much.
Trace Thompson just came into the ball game. He's getting an AB. Nolan's probably best friend. Pitch just missed, 1-1. Nolan, his brother Jonah, and his cousin Josh Fuentes. Did he go? No, 2-1. Well, they're on a group text together. Josh had a terrific second half. Josh Fuentes in the Rockies organization in Hartford. Baseball can be cruel. A year ago, about a year and a half ago, Trace Thompson was all the rage here in LA, and it's been a tough year for him. Spent most of it in Oklahoma City.
That's why when you watch this game and you realize how difficult the game is, how quickly a career can be thrown off based on injuries. And you wait for the guy to get healthy. But during that time frame, people step up and they take your job, they take your opportunities, and they run with it. Chris Taylor's an example of a guy like that.
He had only 212 in Oklahoma City this year, 9 home runs. Two and 2 on Thompson. Out at first base on the strikeout.
First baseman number 35, Cody Bellinger.
So Bellinger's the only original starter in the lineup still. He was a double in 3 at bats, scored the Dodgers' only run back in the 4th inning when Puig doubled him home.
Interested in a suite for the postseason? Now is the time to ask us about options. Call 303 Rockies today for more information. We're talking about like you and I specifically, the Rockies.
What about you and I going in? Huey, should we go get a suite?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'm in. I want the warning track.
All your buddies out there, all the buddies you throw macaroni salad in their
macaroni
face.
pies to the face.
2 balls and a strike on Bellinger. Did I leave out Grandal? Grandal's still in the game, right?
Yeah,
he's on deck. So those 2 guys are the only guys left from the original starting 9. 9 runs, 16 hits for the Rockies, a run on 5 hits and an error on the Dodgers. That ball is lathered to left center field. Second double of the night for Bellinger.
I enjoy watching Cody Bellinger play the game. Might have given himself a raspberry.
Did he get hurt?
No, I think he probably. You'll cut your knee, you'll cut your backside when you slide hard. Most likely he has a raspberry somewhere on his body. I'm assuming it's the left knee since he slid there earlier.
Yeah, it's particularly painful if you've already scraped it once. Grandal takes a strike. And a ground ball to Mark Reynolds. That'll end the inning. We'll go to the 9th. The Rockies in charge 9-1. Very much. Top of the 9th inning. Walker Buehler will stay out there. Charlie Blackmon will also stay out there. He's going to lead things off. Alexi Amarista's in the on-deck circle, so DJ will get pinch hit for.
So far, Walker Buehler has been extremely impressive. Touched 100 miles an hour with the second pitch. And with his call-up, congratulations to the Vanderbilt baseball program. This is the 60th Major League Baseball player to make their debut.
They have turned into a national power. Every year they have, it seems like, a top 5 recruiting class.
So this is Tim Corbin, the coach of Vanderbilt's 60th Major League player in the time that he's been there.
Breaking ball, a strike on Charlie, who's had a perfect night. He's reached base 5 times tonight. The last Rocky to reach 6 times in a game was opening day in 14 when Charlie went 6 for 6. You know, if you go 6 for 6 opening day, you feel pretty good about the rest of the week. You're not going to depart the week with a bad average.
No, you can take a day or 2 off. That was the difference between Charlie and I.
Here's the 0-2. It was at 99. There's some guys that throw hard and look like they throw hard. This guy throws hard and he looks like he throws hard.
From Lexington, Kentucky.
Couple Southeast boys battling each other. And strike 3 on a breaking ball.
Right at the
You got
bottom
to feel
of the Subaru
yeah,
strike
it
zone.
was a strike, but you got to feel how competitive Charlie is, and talk about not ever giving away an at bat. He wasn't happy that that pitch was called a strike by Lance Barrett. There's no, oh well, it doesn't matter. It's 9-1. Amarista pinch hitting for LeMahieu. And Ryan McMahon's in the on-deck circle. He'll pinch hit for Nolan. That's what it's come to. You see those 2 guys there behind McMahon?
They're texting each other, sitting right there in the front row.
Well, I mean, they could be playing video games, checking emails. They're doing anything but watching this game.
Well, they should watch Walker Buehler. He's enjoyable to watch right now. It's the best thing that's come out of the from the Dodgers side.
0-1 on Amarista. I'm guessing there are more people in that front row occupied with their phones than watching the ball game at this juncture. I just want to give our director Mike Fox something to do. Ah, there we go on the phone. Goes down. So here comes Ryan McMahon. She's entertained by whatever she was scrolling through, right?
24, Ryan McMahon.
Starting a Walker Buehler chant.
taking a selfie. Don't be fooled. He's not videotaping the game. It's a selfie, right? Outside with the curveball, 1-1.
After getting drafted in 2015, Buehler had to have Tommy John. You're looking at a kid that getting drafted in 2015, pretty much missing all of 2016, and making it to the big leagues in probably not a lot of minor league experience.
His curveball is bounced to first. He'll cover the bag. A 1-2-3 ninth inning. Rockies need 3 more outs to capture game 1 of 4 here in LA.
Dodger fans, but it is a fun night if you're a Rockies fan. Calling all college students, take a study break and come out to the ballpark on Friday, September 15th. It is also Rockies 2007 reunion weekend. Purchase the special ticket package and receive a special college night item, discounted ticket.
You know, college night appropriately falls on the same night as reunion night.
I love that.
I knew you'd like that.
Our reunion is probably gonna be like a college night for a bunch of guys that should not be having college nights at our age.
Knowing you guys, it will be a frat night. Adam Ottavino is on to pitch the 9th inning with the Rockies ahead 9-1. McMahon's at third. We haven't seen Ryan there yet. That's his natural position. Amarista's at second. Inside 2-0 on Charlie Culberson, one-time Rocky. And the Georgia kid fouls it off. Out of Rome, Georgia. So you're getting old. You just turned 38. You didn't overlap with Charlie Culberson. Charlie's a good man.
Very good. Short time I had a chance to spend with him, I enjoyed my time.
2-2. So Herman Marquez tomorrow, Spilly, and Yu Darvish. And the interesting thing is, when Yu Darvish first came over, he threw, and we'll tell the story again tomorrow, but he threw against the Rockies when the Rockies had Todd in the lineup. That's strike 3. They had Cargo, they had Tulo, and I mean, he was absolutely dominant in a spring training game. But tomorrow will be the first time, because of Texas, that the Rockies have ever faced him. When the Rockies have played Texas the last few years, they never saw Darvish.
And for you, Darvish, it hasn't been a great time with the Dodgers. He still has yet to pitch into the 7th inning. Majority of his starts are just barely past the 5th. I think the Dodgers were hoping that the 1-2 punch of Clayton Kershaw and Yu Darvish would be unstoppable, and it hasn't been. But the Rockies putting a stop to the streak that Clayton was on with 16 consecutive starts without taking a loss. That ends tonight.
It's a remarkable run. And the Rockies are going to end it emphatically. Austin Barnes. 2 balls and a strike. The last time a pitcher won or a team won 17 straight when one guy started was the Cardinals in 2005. Chris Carpenter.
Oh, that guy was filthy.
Yeah, you faced him. He was top shelf. And a walk. So Barnes to first with 1 out. Here's our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. It came 3 hitters in. Clayton Kershaw, first pitch, high fastball to Nolan, and everybody looked up, and it was playable to one of the relief pitchers in the Dodger pen. Rockies were off and running, 3-0. Okoye Dixon is now going to pinch hit.
When I hear Okoye, I think of the Nigerian nightmare, Christian Okoye. I know it's not spelled the same, but that's what I think about.
He went to school out here at Azusa Pacific. One ball, one strike.
Okoye was born in San Francisco. Doesn't have the same ring.
No. Kershaw had won 12 straight decisions. That was the longest stretch for a Dodger since Bert Hooton won 12 straight for LA in '75. He will not match the last Dodger to win 13 straight decisions. That, of course, was Kirby Higbee back in, well, between 43 and 46. 1-2. 96 is fouled off. Kershaw remains in the dugout. If you missed it, he gave up 4 runs on 6 hits and 3 2/3. Just the second time in the last 7 years he's got 4 innings or less because of performance. He had to be removed from a game or 2 because of an ailment early. This is out of play. Dodgers over the last dozen ball games had won once. They're 1-11, and that was the day that Kershaw pitched 6 shutout at Petco. Well, He couldn't save them tonight. They're on their way to their 7th straight loss, and their 7th straight loss at Dodger Stadium.
It's probably team meeting time for them.
And Dixon is gone, 2 outs. We'll bring up Kike Hernandez.
Fielder number 14, Kike.
Well, Dave Roberts is going to get the same questions tonight. Are you concerned? Is there panic? Dave Roberts emphatically last night said, we just need to win a ball game. Obviously, it's not happening tonight. Hopefully, it's after the Rockies leave town. And he also was pretty clear saying, I'm not worried about the division. I understand that. They're still, despite how well Arizona's played, they're still 10.5 games up. They were on a record pace for a while. I mean, it looked like they could win 120 games.
But these stretches, regardless, for a team, if you can come out through the other side, and Bud Black was talking about the same thing. He was asked the question about when your team goes through a turbulent period. And he dropped the Winston Churchill line.
It's great, wasn't it? So what do you do when you're going through hell?
Keep going.
Keep going. You know what Buddy keeps saying, you got to embrace this. This is fun. Some guys are going through it for the first time. That's up and in. And yet, for a manager standing on that top step, when you're in a 4-3 nail biter, you're churning. For the Rockies to be comfortably ahead most of this evening, or really the entire evening, it's a nice little break for the skipper, isn't it?
It's great. Get guys off their feet for an inning or two.
3-2.
Curious if they asked Charlie if he wanted to come out of the game, knowing that he probably would not want to come out. Charlie's like, no, I start what I finish. I finish what I start.
Yeah, 3-2. And Charlie's going to be able to squeeze the last out of the evening. The Rockies beat Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers 9-1.